Allure to Darkness is about a woman in college set during the pandemic. She's living her normal life with her boyfriend, and despite like the vampire and like COVID-19 being around, up until she was her life changed overnight when she was attacked by a vampire, and it forces her to cope with everything, like with her relationship with her boyfriend Stefan, and how with her like recovering from like an abusive toxic relationship from her antagonist.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Film Goals podcast. Today I'm with the one and only Lourdes Viray. I said your last name right? Viray.
Viray.
So Lourdes is a filmmaker that wears many hats, right? You do a lot of stuff. You want to tell us like kind of everything that you do?
The many hats that I wear were makeup artist, actor, and modeling, and sound.
And you write and produce, right?
And I write and I produce. And I used to direct, but I'm just sticking to makeup, sound, producer, writer, model. Did I say acting?
Yeah, acting.
And acting.
Tell me how you started. Like, what made you want to get into filmmaking? Because you do a lot, so...
Mm-hmm. So what had got me into filmmaking was back when I was in high school applying for college. When I was looking up like the degree, I'm like, oh no, I don't know what to do. And I was in like video production in my senior year at that point. I'm like, oh, maybe I should try filmmaking, because I looked at the criteria for videography, photography, and they explained what they do, and I'm like, okay, let me click on that. For some reason, I didn't click on that at first. I initially applied for culinary. When it came to before my first semester in college, I changed my degree from culinary to photography, videography, and film. And that's how I got there. And way before that, I've also watched a lot of YouTube with like specifically makeup tutorials, bloggers, and I'm like, oh, I want to know what they do and how they got there. And then that's when I found out like, content creator as well. It goes hand in hand with like videography and film as well. So I'm like, let me just get into that so that way I can like amp up my game when it comes to my my YouTube channel.
Oh, nice. So, I know you say you watched YouTube, but like, did movies or anything inspire you to like do videography? Because you started with videography. Like, what made you want to get into that?
So, what made me into videography was a lot of the vampire horror films I grew up with. Starting with my very first memory from when I was a baby. I watched Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Coppola. I remember seeing the scene of Lucy Westenra where her head got decapitated and then it flew across the screen, and then the next scene cut to like a ham being like cut for dinner. So that's what like got me into like wanting to be around like the film industry.
Awesome. And you went to CSN, right?
Mm-hmm. I went to College of Southern Nevada.
Yeah. And how's your experience with when you got your degree in filmmaking?
Mm-hmm. I've got my degree in filmmaking. It's pretty awesome. It's good. Like I've got to learn so much. Like every year you constantly get like new gear, and then you get like hands-on learning in class. Mm-hmm. Sorry, right then and there. It's pretty good. I've also like networked with like a few people there. And I'm grateful for them, and I've learned so much for them, and they're like my parents and my family there too.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about like your projects that you started doing after film school. Like, what was stuff that you wanted to create? Because you do so much, like, makeup and stuff. Did you decide on a certain thing that you wanted to focus on? Or at least when you were in school?
When I was in school, I've, like, dabbled a little bit of, like, acting, and like I dabbled into everything to see just what was for me. Turns out my affinity was sound.
Oh,
And
okay.
I dabbled a little bit of like second AC, first AC, but then I like stayed for sound by the time I was out of film school.
Did you love sound, or was that something you just went into?
I love sound.
Okay, that's
I went into it too because I was
yeah.
interested, because I noticed that like a lot of people couldn't find sound,
Yeah.
and it's like pretty hard. I'm like, let me become one.
That's good. Yeah, because it's hard to find sound people. Like I think that's the hardest, probably like crew position that it's hard to find in Vegas. So that's good. And then did you start doing gigs in that, or?
So I did do some gigs like after, wait, when did I graduate CSN? It was like sorry, oh my
Oh, that's
god.
okay.
Yeah. For sound, my first gig for sound was when I was in I was on a student production on one of them before I like walked to graduation, and then there was like another one. Let's see. I've been so much. I like wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that your focus when you like graduated, that you wanted to just stay in sound?
To stay in sound and then dabble into like makeup artistry as well. I've known I worked with like Fran and Brow for sound and like makeup frequently with them,
Yeah.
and that was like one of my first gigs with them in the industry.
Okay, that's awesome. And what do you like more, makeup or sound?
Oh, that's a tough question. It's like asking if you love Stefan or Damon from the Vampire Diaries. Like, I can't choose one.
Okay.
It really depends on my my mood and my state of like my health, and see how I'm doing. There are times where I'm like, I can do both, and then there are other times where I'm like, let me stick to one thing. Yeah.
That's cool. And because I know you say you like horror, like is that the kind of makeup do you like, or do you do everything? Like, do you do the pretty like makeup, or?
I dabbled into like pretty much everything. I ranged from like glam makeup, natural makeup, SFX makeup, gory makeup.
Did you learn that in school, the makeup stuff, or was that on your own?
I taught myself that.
Okay, just from watching YouTubes. Nice. Let's see. So yeah, so let's talk about your project, Allure to Darkness. You love vampires, so let's talk about like what inspired you and what the project is.
So Allure to Darkness was based on parts of my personal life, starting with like after when I turned maybe like 2006. Yeah, it was somewhere in 2006 where I had like a traumatic period of my life where my dad died of aneurysm.
Yeah.
That I've like based it on that without really talking about it explicitly. But then what came after was like my state of my mental health at that time, and like many people in my life that have bullied me, traumatized me, and basically when I ended up having anxiety and depression, and I struggle a little bit with like with self-harm, self-harm thoughts. I did not actually self-harm until early 2020.
How did that come into play in the film or in the stuff that you wrote?
So basically there's this like one scene where I've like based it on the part where I was a kid. I was in third grade. I was groped by a teacher, and then I went to tell my parents, and then we went to school the next day. We told the principal and the school police. The school police didn't believe me, straight up laughed at me, and then I like used that particular time in my life to build scenes around it. I start at the middle, and then I go in at the end, and then I go back from the beginning. It started off as like a feature film for a screenwriting class in 2020. Nothing really kicked off, inspiration writing wise, until I dealt with this person that I worked with. It didn't work out with us, but yeah, it got into the point where I was like, bullied, verbally abused, and it's where when I've like self-harmed for like a few days until like I've emailed the person that I've resigned away from them, and then yeah.
Do you think it's helped you kind of like heal or get it out?
It has helped me get out the weight on my shoulders, and like it has like given me closure to some parts of my life. So yeah.
So tell us about the story of that you created, because I know you created like a whole lore behind it, and then just kind of talk about how that idea came to life.
I've like dabbled into a lot of like myth and folklore with like Lilith's story, like where Lilith was like turned into like a demon because like she did not want to be below Adam, so I used that as the antagonist with like Victor, and I named it after one of my main characters. So I've used it as that, and then I've like researched a bunch of vampire mythologies as well, and then I went back into my comfort vampire horror films, my collections of them, and I just like wrote everything down from there.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the plot of Allure to Darkness. Like, what is it about? And
so Allure to Darkness is about a woman in college set during the pandemic. She's living her normal life with her boyfriend, and despite like, you know, the vampire and like COVID-19 being around, up until she was her life changed overnight when she was attacked by a vampire, and it forces her to cope with everything, like with her relationship with her boyfriend Stefan, and how with her like recovering from like an abusive toxic relationship from her antagonist.
Okay. And you directed that one. You wrote and directed it. And how was the production for you? What did you like about it? Some of the challenges of doing the production?
One of the many challenges was being set in the pandemic, and the casting process was a challenge too, because COVID-19, it causes a lot of people to back out due to COVID or any circumstances around COVID. And what I like about it is that I get to hone in my own story from there. Whatever traumatizing memory I've had, I wrote it down from there, and I like playing with the blood. I like the human heart, and it's fake. I like doing the SFX on that, and I've enjoyed working with a lot of people from there. And the hard thing about it as a director is just translating from my brain to saying it out loud with a lot of my cast and crew. I love that we managed to get through every single challenge that faced us. We made it through. And then the second lockdown on November 13th, that was a challenge too. But we worked around it in the end.
Did you film it through the college, or was this outside after you graduated that you did this film?
We filmed Allure to Darkness during my last semester in college. Okay. We filmed it at College of Southern Nevada, and then we filmed it one location at someone's house for that big old scene that we saw. But yeah.
Okay, awesome. And let me ask you, what is the love for vampires? Where does that come from for you? Is it just watching movies, or is it?
It came out of nowhere. I mean, my sister did have a collection of vampire films and TV shows. I watched a lot of Buffy when she was watching me, and I watched Underworld. It came from movies and TV shows, really.
Okay.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere.
Okay.
I was probably a vampire in my last life. I wouldn't be surprised if it were the answer.
What was that your first project that you did?
It wasn't my first project. It was my last project as a film student.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right, so tell us about I'm Everywhere. That was a sequel or a prequel?
It's a prequel to Allure to Darkness. It focuses on Victor's point of view. Victor is the antagonist in Allure to Darkness, and now in I'm Everywhere you get to see in his POV of what he wants, his goals and ambition, and his little backstory of like why the way he is. It's just his reputation and the way he went about it is just not. Yeah.
Not it. So, why did you decide not to direct this one? Because I met with Shay was here for the podcast, and she was the director of the film, and she kind of talked about her role in it. But everything comes from your brain. So what made you decide not to do that?
I've decided to not direct because of like when I was directing Allure to Darkness, it took a lot out of me, and when I was working on Allure to Darkness, my mental health wasn't it, and I decided to pass torch to someone who can direct it. It's always been like a long time goal for me since 2020 to have someone else to direct a story from like within Allure universe and the other anthology, and then that I found Shay.
Okay. And what made you pick her? What made you want to pick her?
Landon called me before a film festival that was being screened back in like November of 2022. He's like, "Hey Lourdes, I have an idea. We should like make like a second episode or like a sequel to Allure." And then I'm like, "Yeah, sure, we should do that." And then after like about 2 days after the film festival happened, I contacted Landon. Me and Landon had a meeting, and then I told Landon I don't want to direct the second installment, but I need someone else to be director. I'll be like writer, producer, and like makeup artist for it. And then Landon's like, "I know someone, my girlfriend Shay." And then I'm like, "Yeah, can you contact her, please?" And then 2 weeks went by, and then Landon was like, "Hey, Shay can do it." And then I'm like, "Yay." So what's her contact info? And then me and Shay hit each other up, and then we had like a meeting, and then the rest is history.
Cool. So what's in the process right now of the film? Where are you at?
So where we're at right now is that we are in post-production. So we're just down with like the editor and the director. We are getting everything together. When are we going to be finished? That is to be dated. We'll let you know when it's finished.
And is the first one out yet?
Allure to Darkness? Yeah. It's been shown in quite a few film festivals, but it's not out. But I do have a trailer on my YouTube channel. I'm trying to figure out the right time to premiere it, like to do it in person or to do it online.
What's your plan? What are you thinking?
So I'm like thinking of doing like a double feature premiere after I'm Everywhere is finished editing and being edited, and have like premiere like Allure to Darkness first, and then I'm Everywhere, so that way everyone can like get the whole context for the whole anthology. Cool.
And do you have any more planned in this universe, or do you have other stories that you want to do?
I know that Lola's story from Allure isn't finished yet. After like seeing the ending of Allure and then looking back at it, I'm like, no, it's not finished. So I wanted to focus on like just Lilith on her own and to see what she's like, after going through such a very, very bloody and traumatic event.
And what is your like goal in filmmaking? Do you want to continue to produce and write and makeup and sound, or what do you want to focus on, or you want to do everything?
So my goal is to like, I can't stay in one spot. I've always had like the zoomies. So I like dabble into many different parts. It depends on like who reaches out to me, and it depends on my schedule as well.
Do you have more stories that you want to do other than vampires?
More stories?
Yeah, like do you have any other like ideas for scripts or films that you want to create?
I have an idea for it. I just like haven't gotten the time to like write them down. It's hard to not write stuff and not include vampires in
You want to
it.
stay in the same genre?
Yeah, I might stay in the same genre. It depends on what happens in my personal life.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be traumatic? Is it not?
Well, I like how you're taking it from your personal life. So let's talk about. I just saw a bunch of bloody photos come out of your Instagram.
Oh,
you and
boy.
Shay. So how did you start in? How did you dabble into the modeling and doing photography and stuff?
So, Fran reached out to me, saying like, "Hey, you want to do like a photo shoot? Her name's Kristen Dieta. Here's her Instagram." I'm like, "Yeah, like what date, what time?" And then we started with like the witch photo shoot with Kirsten. I love Kirsten. I love Kirby so much, and like she's talented. She's amazing. She's a visionary, and we've like basically it was like we have like the same aesthetic, which is very hard. It's like very rare to find these days to have like find someone that has like the same aesthetic as you, like horror and like gore
Goth.
and goth too.
Like your dress right now. That's cool. So how do you like modeling? Do you enjoy it?
I love modeling. I've always like wanted to model ever since I was a kid, you know, seeing the Victoria's Secret runways and like the fashion shows. But then I realized, you know, in middle school that I'm like really short and I can't model in the runway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like just like with modeling just heals my inner child and like giving like being able to like live up to their goals and their expectations. It's very, I don't know how to word.
No, that's awesome. That's cool. I mean, it's very bloody. It's very graphic, but it's cool. So anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, I'll put all your info below and the trailer to your film so people can check it out. And yeah, that's Lourdes. Check out her stuff, and we'll see you next time. Peace.